Hey, beautiful people. This is Marissa Monique. So, I just got back from Puerto Rico with my sisters. We were celebrating my dad's 67th birthday. We had an amazing time. The weather held up for us, and we ate some fantastic cuisine. We relaxed, we slept, we adventured. It was a great way to recharge and also a great way for me to fight PMS. But nobody knew that, but they might have known that in my attitude anyway. But it got me thinking about my father and people like him. My mother also, people like them that have worked there so hard their entire lives. Right now, it almost seems like they're, I don't know, like stepping it up a notch because they're just pouring into us so much, trying to equip us with everything they possibly can, so that when they are not able to do that, they feel like they've done everything they could to just, give us the best that they could give us. It's a beautiful thing. But the trip also reminded me to, let them know, especially my dad was on the trip with me and my sisters. Hey, like, he's never been one to have many hobbies. He also has never, he's always just worked so efficiently and effectively, and he's made a lot of sacrifices. Both of them have. And, sometimes it was even hard on this trip to get him to sit down because it's like, no, he couldn't just sit at the pool. No, he couldn't just sit at the beach. No, he had to be taking a walk. No, he had to be in the gym. He had to, he's figuring out what's going on with the jet skis and the paddleboard and the deep sea fishing trip and everything. We rented a car at the last minute and he wanted to just go sightseeing. And so, we're jumping out of our bikinis into our shorts and everything to go run around with him. It was just really funny. But it still was great, but it was also a great way to remind him, hey dad, like, you need to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You need to, you should take a trip every, or do something for yourself every quarter. It made me also think about when I was younger how much my parents, adventured with us. They took us back and forth through the United States. We've been to a ton of historical sites. Um, we've driven across the country, at least I think from the time I was 0 to 17 or 5 to 17, I'd say at least 6 times. And we've been to a lot of the national forests. We've been to a lot of the historical sites. We've been to all kinds of beaches. We've been over Disneyland and over SeaWorld and, over, what is that, Six Flags. We've done all of that kind of stuff. We've been to a ton of farmers markets and just anything and everything. We've camped in the rain. We've fished. We've hiked. We've just, yeah, there's so many things that we've done, been fortunate enough to do. We've been in cabins, and I'm so grateful for that. But then, like, after, particularly me, after I got out of high school, it's like they hunkered down again and they were working really hard to make sure everybody got through high school and college. And um, they really haven't backed off of the pedal a whole lot. And so this was just an opportunity to remind him, hey, like, it's okay to golf. It's okay to, take a vacation every, once in a while. My parents are definitely the types that are going to work until they're 90. I think that working and staying busy energizes them. I think it keeps them healthy. I think it keeps them sharp. So it's not that I'm trying to deter that. I'm just trying to, I think my sisters and I want them to just have a little bit more balance, because they've done so much for us, and it's like we want to help them, kind of relax sometimes. So that's what this trip was about. But this trip also made me think about a sermon that I had listened to, oh gosh, probably like 5 years ago. And the pastor, I had to dig in my notes, but the pastor shared some regrets of the dying. And let me share them with you. So the first one was, I wish I hadn't worked so hard, missed my children's youth, missed my partner's companionship. You only get to be each age once. Number your days as if they will run out. And that's an awesome point, because you don't know. A lot of us assume that we have tomorrow to do it, or that we have next week to do it, or we're planning for next year, but we really don't know that. And so you need to start taking more stock of your time, and realize what's important and what needs to be a priority in your life, and what you can't put in that box in the ground or burn up in, that big oven. The second one, top regret of the dying, is I wish I had the courage to live life true to myself and not the life others expected of me. Don't let your dreams go unfulfilled. I think this is a great point, because we so often get pulled in to trying to meet the expectations of others, and sometimes we don't acknowledge what is really true to us, what we really desire. We also get deterred sometimes early in life and have to put our dreams on the back burner. You need to learn how to negotiate your dreams with your particular relationships. You need to acknowledge the relationships. You need to acknowledge your responsibilities, your obligations, but you also need to acknowledge that you have something inside of you that needs to be fulfilled. And there's so many people that leave this earth, and sometimes leave it early, honestly, because that dream has gone unfulfilled and they are very empty. And so you need to find a way in the middle of that to negotiate fulfilling certain dreams. And sometimes it has to be renegotiated. Maybe something isn't so much of a priority, but then something else is. I have to think about that often right now. Sometimes in my therapy sessions, I talk to my therapist about that, about renegotiating what really matters to me at this point in my life. The third regret of the dying, or just an acknowledgement, is that health is so very important. That health brings freedom that very few realize until they no longer have it. Once again, let me read that over. Health brings a freedom that very few realize until they no longer have it. You need your health. You cannot move, you cannot think, you cannot be productive if you are not in a healthy place with your mind and body. And so you have to fight for that. You have to make choices that advocate for that. And so even if you feel like, oh, my health is out of control, I want you to, from today, take it back in control. That means eating healthier. That means making better lifestyle choices. That means deciding to be a little more active, whatever that means. You have the power, and you must develop the discipline to do that. And because your health is your wealth. If you're not healthy, then it doesn't really matter what you're doing, because you will be limited in what you can do. The fourth regret of the dying is that my time is limited. So I must limit how I spend my time. This makes me think of Chadwick Boseman. When he passed, there was a quote going around, I guess, that he used very often, that says, take your time, but don't waste your time. That's the thing. We can make money, we can make it back, but we can't make time back. And so we have to be mindful of that when we are expending energy on certain things, on certain people, on certain choices in our life, on certain habits, on certain hobbies. Does this really truly matter to us? Will this make us happy? Will this help us meet our goals? Will this cause people, my relationships, to grow stronger or weaker? We have to think about that. And so we need to take our time, but don't waste our time. Uh, anyway, I hope that these tidbits served you well. Something to just think about. Take care, y'all.